The Hobbit, written by J.R.R. Tolkien, is underrated. The Hobbit is the story of Bilbo Baggins, who is unexpectedly met with a journey across Middle-earth to help a band of 13 dwarves reclaim their home, which was taken by the dragon Smaug. No, this is not a Disney princess movie. My original plan for this video was to rant about why this trilogy is a heaping pile of crap. But when I revisited the movies, I was annoyingly only able to find a few flaws. The flaws. The trilogy is just too dang long. If you ain't a big brain homie, you may not know that the original Hobbit book is only one book. There was no trilogy of books like that of Lord of the Rings, so while The Hobbit had a lot of content in it, there was just no way of stretching it into 3 movies. This led to a lot of unnecessary content being piled into the movies, including another issue I have with the trilogies, Tauriel.
You cannot hunt 30 orcs on your own.
But I'm not on my own.
Tauriel is completely made up. She was never in the original book and was added into the movies for absolutely no reason other than adding a completely shallow love story and extra runtime. It also gave guys somebody to simp for. Another made-up character, Azog the Defiler. It usually isn't a good sign that one of the main villains of your movie wasn't even in the source material that you took the content from. Azog is not in the original book. But this isn't too big of a deal for me, as they connected Azog very well with the death of Thorin Oakenshield. The Great. The Hobbit is beautiful. While wide shots of wilderness add literally nothing to the overarching storyline of the film, they do wonders for drawing the audience in and making them more connected to the story. The characters. The trilogy certainly bit off way more than they could chew by trying to get us connected to 14 different main characters, with villains and side characters as well. But they use it to their advantage, as while the story unfolds, they give us the slightest scenes and gags with the dwarves to bring them humanity and make them easier to connect with.
Try it. Just a mouthful. I don't like green food.
Where's the meat?
Have they got any chips?
By far the best character in this series is Thorin Oakenshield. And here's my reasoning for this. I rarely connect with a movie character enough to feel like I know them, and to the point of bawling my eyes out if or when they die. And Thorin Oakenshield was the last character I thought I would have this connection with. Thorin goes from a dark, shadowed, mysterious, and angry king to a strong, loving, caring, and open, and brave king, ready to lay down his life for his kin. How does this drastic change occur over 3 films, you may ask? Let me lay it out for you. The first appearance of Thorin. He's quiet, mysterious, and intimidating. From the first few moments he meets Bilbo Baggins, he knows Bilbo is not ready for the journey they will embark on. Thorin shuns Bilbo, knowing that he would quickly be killed in battle. Bilbo feels he needs to prove himself, and tries to do so. He later realizes that Thorin was right, and he was never meant to come. By the climax of the movie, when Thorin is about to be beheaded by Azog, Bilbo reluctantly runs into battle with all his courage, knowing that he has no chance of survival, and praying that Thorin may live long enough to see his home once again. Thorin passes out, not knowing that Bilbo saved all of them. When Thorin awakes, he jumps to his feet, beginning to chew out Bilbo for how stupid of a thing this was to do.
You nearly got yourself killed. Did I not say that you would be a burden?
The audience's hearts sink as we see Thorin hasn't changed. Bilbo looks to regret what he did when Thorin says this.
You had no place amongst us. I have never been so wrong in all my life.
This scene hits me every time, seeing 2 silent enemies become the closest of friends when they lay it on the line for each other. It's one of the most emotional and most powerful scenes in the trilogy. This is how you evolve a character the right way. Thorin's character would not be perfect if it weren't for the events of the final Hobbit film, The Battle of Five Armies. Audiences can easily get attached to main characters because there is a sense of safety and trust that we will get to see these characters through the story. But the most powerful part of Thorin's character is that he dies. Thorin's death echoes the beautiful moment of him and Bilbo in the first movie, as Bilbo is the last person Thorin sees before he dies. In the end, Thorin died to save those he loved. If it weren't for his sacrifice, Middle-earth would have been overrun and lost. Bilbo tells Thorin about the victory in the Battle of Five Armies, as Thorin repents to Bilbo for all that he ever did to him. Thorin dies, knowing that the day was won. A story is not complete without a satisfying ending, and even if the series did have rocky patches, it truly did stick the landing with the ending of the Battle of Five Armies. This ending doesn't leave you with happiness, it doesn't leave you feeling content, and it doesn't feel like the end. The ending is incredibly realistic, as after a war, no one truly wins. The heroes part ways. After 3 movies, with Bilbo being with the ones he loves, he returns to a life alone. It's incredibly odd seeing Bilbo travel all the way back to his home by himself, knowing that we've spent 3 movies with the entire group traveling together. After seeing some of his closest friends dying in front of him, Bilbo just returns to his life, and it isn't a happy ending. While the ending doesn't leave you smiling or wanting more, it is satisfying. A satisfying end to a fantastic trilogy of movies. The Hobbit has problems, but focusing only on those problems will only lead you to hating it even more. When you look at the good, you realize there was really never that much wrong with it in the first place. So I'll ask you to please revisit the movies. There are parts that drag, but that doesn't mean the entire project should be thrown away like it was a failure. While I do think The Hobbit should have been condensed down to 2 films, I'm glad I experienced such a wonderful and magical series of movies. Movies that have become a part of me that I will not let go of any time soon.